This is the first of my swatch video series for the Hornbaek cardigan. This is the yarn that I used for my sample. It is Holst Garn from Denmark. Let's have a look at that. This is a wool cotton blend. It's called Coast. I use the color Dove, and you can see it's 55% lamb's wool and 45% cotton. It's quite a thin yarn. It's 350 meters or 383 yards per 50-gram ball. And its recommended needle size for a single strand would be a 2.5 to 3 millimeter needle. I use this yarn doubled, and you can see these are fairly thin 2-ply strands. And this yarn, as they will tell you on the website, has a fair bit of spinning oil in it, so it really does seem kind of packed down and very thin when you see it. But once it's been washed, it does plump up really beautifully. So this is knit on a 6, size US 6, 4 millimeter, with the yarn doubled. So I love this combination of wool and cotton. I think it's a great year-round fabric. What I love is that it's warm enough. It has the warmth and elasticity of wool, but it doesn't have as much warmth as 100% wool. And it has this incredibly downy, kind of cottony, powdery feel to it. So there are those times of the year when wool won't feel good on your skin, but you still might want a layer inside or in the evening or in air conditioning, something like that. And this feels really good on the skin. And also I don't love always working with 100% cotton just because of the inelasticity of the fiber. So this combination makes it really pleasant to work with, especially in a stitch like this, which is a slip stitch pattern, and it's a bit tighter or denser than other things. So I found that worked really well. This yarn is available in skeins like this, or actually you can get it on a 500-gram cone, big cone. So it really depends on how you prefer to work. I've worked from both and found both totally fine, and frankly not that different. If you're working from skeins, then you can pull a strand from each skein to work double. If you're working from the cone, then you would probably want to wind off skeins from that. For some of these sizes, a cone is all you will need. It's an extremely affordable yarn, and it wears really well. And I know this because my mother has a sweater made out of this exact yarn from 10 plus years ago that is still wearing beautifully, is unpilled, gets the occasional wash, and it's really held up incredibly well. So it's always really lovely to work with something that you can have that confidence in, and so I really believe you can with this yarn. The other thing I want to mention about the washing of this wool, and it was a first time putting this kind of thing into a pattern, is that this is actually a machine washable wool. You can put this in, even with other laundry. I usually put it inside something else like a pillowcase and tie that up, but regular mild detergent on a gentle cycle, and then lay it flat to dry. This means no drying. And I thought this was beautiful when I hand washed it because I did that first. I think it might be slightly even more beautiful when it was machine washed. It just plumped up that little bit more, and the agitation slightly folded it. So that not only does it feel good and look good, but I have a sense of that the fabric is now kind of protected from abrasion in a certain way. So that's the lovely thing about this. And one of the other yarns I'll mention later, it also has a machine washable option, but it's entirely up to you. You can hand wash this as always, and I do think after I washed my swatches a couple of times hand washed that it was equivalent in terms of the beauty at the hand of the swatch. So just something to be aware of, but particularly aside from this project, if you want to look for a washable yarn for kids things or for yourself, this is definitely one to consider. So I hope you will also take a look on the Holst Garn website, or I show the color card on my blog as well, because Holst Garn has an incredible range of colors, and because the dyeing happens over the mixed fiber, the wool and the cotton, they accept the dye differently, and you get an incredibly beautiful heathered effect. So please don't let my sedate choice of pearly gray, which I think is beautiful, lead you astray. There are so many colors to choose from, so do have a look. Holst Garn.